andito na tayo sa ating fourth and the last managerial function, which is controlling. That is right. So, class, controlling involves evaluating and correcting, if necessary, of the work performance of individuals or work groups or teams to make sure that they are all working toward a common direction or toward the previously set goals or plans of the organization. With that being said, bibigyan natin ng challenge yung mag-edit dito. Sana merong malagay na figure dito. Na isipin nyo na merong isang straight line. That straight line represents the plan. Okay? At ang goal mo, class, is yung implementation, yung ina-represent nun, yung line na yan ay kailangan ma-straight mo. Okay? Kumaga just like the first time na mag-learn kayo kung paano magte-trace, ganyan. Ang goal mo is ma-straight yung line na yon. Okay? So, as you go along, syempre, yung implementation, yun yung pagtitrace mo ng straight line na yon. So, habang tinitrace mo, may mga time na lumalampas siya. Right? Okay. Kapag lumampas yung pagtitrace mo, doon na papasok yung ating controlling. So, ang work ng controlling is, kapag lumalampas siya, babalik lang siya doon. Mapababalik niya doon sa mismong plan. Okay, yung implementation. So, that's how important controlling is. Ngayon naman, let us define the different terms in controlling from the BSBAD. Let's go.
In other function of management, they can be done without assurance. Yet controlling, in the other hand, ensures that all the goals are going as planned and that the employees have enough information in working towards the activities. We need to control to eliminate the chance of potential problem. By this, it aims to assure that all the target mission and goals are going through to meet their success. Enough knowledge and feedback is important to control what you want to control.
One of the importance of controlling is employee empowerment, wherein it can provide information and feedback on employees' performance, and also it minimizes the chance of the potential problem. Furthermore, as employee, knowing your mistakes and knowing how to control the given task by your manager, it lessens the problems that you may encounter because you are enough to handle it. With that, the result of your task or your output will be better. And it's good job for you.
One of the importance of controlling is ensuring the order and discipline of employees. Employee discipline enables a positive and healthy work environment and ensures a smooth functioning of the organization. If employees are not disciplined to report at work on time, take long breaks in between work, or spend excessive time on social media, then their productivity tends to suffer. They fall behind in achieving their targets and accomplishing the task at hand. This in turn demotivates them, and there is a vicious spiral of productivity loss with overall drop in team performance.
Planning and controlling are interdependent to one another. In controlling, it compares the actual performance with the plan, and without planning, we cannot tell if the actual performance is working or not. For example, Apple company plans to provide 500 units of cell phone in 1 week. Workers provided 450 units within 6 days. Managers can tell if the progress is good by comparing it to the standard.
Planning and controlling function have to exist together as one function. It is said that planning is meaningless without controlling, and controlling is blind without planning. Planning can be done. An organizational structure is created to facilitate efficient achievement of goals. In order to achieve those goals, you need to take control in the organization to know whether the organizational goals are being met or not. Standard of performance serve as the basis of controlling that is provided by planning. When managers plan, they develop goals and plans. And when they control, they see whether the plans have been carried out and goals are being met.
If managers didn't control, they have no way of knowing whether the goals of the organization are being met and what future actions to take. For example, a chocolate company plans to produce 3,000 chocolate bars in a day. If they skip the controlling process, they will never know if they already met the target or they still need to create more, since part of the controlling is getting information about their actual performance. It may lead to lack or excessive production of their products.
Control process is a three-step process in controlling. The step 1 is measuring actual performance, in which we need to know what the employees will do or the control criteria that managers may use. Actual performance can be measured through personal observations, statistical, oral, and written reports. For the step 2, managers will compare the actual performance against the standard. In this step, they will be able to see the differences and deviations. That is why they still need to determine an acceptable range of variation. The step 3 is taking managerial action, wherein there are 3 possible courses, including do nothing, correcting the actual performance, or revising the standards.
Measuring actual performance is the first step in the control process, which is done by managers to determine the actual performance. But he/she must get first the information about it. A manager can base its measurements on personal observation, statistical reports, oral reports, and written reports. For example, a manager at a fast food chain who tracks records of orders per day, deliveries made, and taking care of customers' concerns.
4 approaches used by managers to measure and report actual performance are personal observations, statistical reports, oral reports, and written reports. We need these 4 sources of information to give the manager the ability to properly measure the worker efficiency. Personal observation, first-hand knowledge of an activity. Statistical reports consist of computer printout graphs, bar charts, and numerical display. Oral reports are one-on-one conversation, telephone calls, and conferences.
Standard performance is said to be the standard set by the company. It is the expected level of performance of the management to their employee, while the actual performance is the actual performance of the employee. The management will also know whether the employee meet the standard set by the company. So, when the desired actual performance doesn't meet by the employee, the management can change their standard or improve the employee effectively and efficiently by means of training.
Taking a managerial action is the final step in the control process, which the concerned managers take a step to correct the action or performance of an organization. It will be very helpful to the organization in taking this action to minimize or improve the performance of an individual or the full team. It also helps the company to visualize the problem and give a certain solution to avoid conflict. For instance, a manager do an observation and get some feedbacks from customers to check their customer service, then suddenly find out that one of their staff have bad attitude. This is the right time for the managers to take a managerial actions by talking to the employee or give some warnings to avoid this kind of situation and for the good company performance.
How planning relate to controlling? Inspirable twins of leadership are planning and controlling. Function as one, function either coexist or have to exist together. Planning without power is a pointless. Similarity without planning and management is blind.
Immediate corrective action. Corrective action that corrects problem at once to get performance back on track. On the other hand, it is eliminate the root cause of the problem from happening again. Taking instantaneous direct action to correct the problem or violation and to prevent it from continuing to occur.
Basic corrective action looks at how and why performance deviated before correcting the source. It's not unusual for managers to rationalize that they don't have time to find the source of a problem and continue to perpetually put out fires with immediate corrective action. Basic corrective action goes beyond fixing the problem at hand and attempts to find and correct the underlying causes of the problem.
Raise the standards. It's possible that the variance was a result of an unrealistic standard too low or too high a goal. In that situation, the standards need the corrective action, not the performance. If performance consistently exceeds the goal, then a manager should look at whether the goal is too easy and need to be raised. The point is that when performance isn't up to par, don't immediately bend the goal or standards. If you believe the standards is realistic, fair and achievable, the employees that you expect future work to improve and then take it necessary corrective action to help make that happen.
Managerial decision and controlling. Exhibit 86 summarizes the decision a manager makes in controlling. Standards are goal developed during the planning process, and these goals provide the basis for the control process, which involve the measuring the actual performance and comparing it against the standard. Depending on the results, a manager decision is to do nothing, correct the performance, or revise the standard.
Performance is all about the action or process carrying out or accomplishing an action, task, or function. For example, reaching quotas, finishing your homework, and last is finishing your house chores.
Organizational performance is the accumulated result of all the organization's work activities. It is the result of combined performance of a manager and all of the employees. For my example of organizational performance can be a high level of performance or a low level of performance. All members of organization wanted to achieve the high level of performance, but in order for them to achieve the high level of performance, managers and employees should always do their job effectively and efficiently, and they should also have a teamwork, because if not, they will not achieve the high level of performance, but they will achieve the low level of performance.
Productivity is the amount of goods or services produced divided by the inputs needed to generate that output. For example, the goal of one company is to produce a larger sales than what they have reached last year. So, in order for them to increase their sales, they have to work efficiently and effectively to produce more products or services that will accommodate the demands of their clients.
According to my research, organizational effectiveness is the concept of how effective an organization is by achieving their outcomes. So, in able for your organization to be called as effective, you must obtain your organizational goals. For example, you set your organizational goals for this month. Therefore, you must achieve that goals.
When we say industry and company rankings, those are lists or ranks of a company according to its organization's performance. For example, there are 5 companies: the company A, B, C, D, and E. The company D met their sets standards and the company B surpassed their sets standards, while the remaining companies did not. So, meaning to say, the company B took the first position on ranking because they show a very good performance to surpass their set standards.
Disciplinary action is a method of dealing with employees who cause problems or do not follow company rules and policy. Example, company use a range of disciplinary procedure depending on the severity of the transgression. There are 2 types of disciplinary action procedure. The first one is the formal procedure and the second one is the informal procedure.
Managers provide their employees with feedback so that the employees know where they stand in terms of their work. Where giving performance feedback, both parties need to feel heard, understood, and respect. Example, this is based on my work experience. In the McDonald's, the management conduct every month, year for the evaluation of their employee to know what the improvement on the employee to their designated station.
Progressive disciplinary action is an approach to ensure that the minimum penalty imposed is appropriate to the offense, and this explains the consequences of not following the employer's rules or not meeting expectations, and it gives opportunity for an employee to change behaviors. In this disciplinary action has a progress. At first, you will be given a verbal warning, followed by written warning, suspension, and the most serious case is dismissal or termination. Only this progress continues if the employee behavior is not improved.
Hi, my name is Angel Laika B. Doria. Types of discipline problems and how to handle. On the job behaviors, his or her behavior can affect their tasks and reflect as employees. To handle, if you must be responsible with respect to others. Sometimes, to avoid this, manager can give disciplinary action like written warning, verbal warning, and especially suspension.
Good day everyone, this is Relame Erlin from BSBAD. In outside activities, according to a recent study by an organization of psychologists, workers who undertake creative activities outside from work can find that this activity improve their performance at work. Far from work, artistic pursuits appear to have direct influence on factors such as creative problem solving and influencing others while at work.
Dishonesty plays a momentous behavior in individual's personality that can affect your relationship with others, especially to yourself. This kind of disciplinary problem is subsequently rigorous in each individual and directly affects your values. Why do people lie? We all have reason and perception by not telling the truth to somebody, particularly in ourselves. Moreover, dishonesty manipulating one's individual's life because they are afraid of the consequences of truth to a parent and to protect others.
Types of disciplinary problems. Attendance-related problems are those in disciplinary actions that seriously create infractions for managers. This is important to a company or worker who should always attend, but this is a problem because, for example, being absenteeism is a big impact on a company when not attending. I think it can be handled by the method of not always being absent from work, or there should be an excuse in case you do not